Welcome to my talk. I'm Mingsheng Hong. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Bluesky Data. We are a very new venture focused on building the future of data infra on the cloud. And before that, I worked on data and ML infra, both in big companies and small startups. And I'm passionate in building products that are not just technically exciting, but truly useful to our users and impactful to their business. I also love supporting, startups and founders and have had the privilege of supporting some of them. Over the last few years, data warehouses are starting to move to the cloud. Yes? I do have the clicker, sorry. Let me see. Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is the slide. Thank you, Shinji. Data warehouses are starting to move to the cloud. The market size of data warehouses and data clouds are estimated by Gartner and others to be in the range of $40 to $50 billion. And yet, we see the current market leaders, the Snowflakes and Databricks, having an annual revenue of around $1 billion to $2 billion range, which means the movement of data warehouses to the cloud is only just beginning. And we've got so much work to do. So if you are looking for the next big thing in the next 5 to 10 years, we think this could be a life-changing opportunity. Now, before we get too excited about the future, I thought it would be useful to look at the history a bit. Back in the 1970s, that's before many of us were born, including myself, we see oracles and others starting the first generation of relational database product, and they targeted OLTP or transactional workloads. And then we also see academic products and open source projects like Ingress and Postgres, and followed by, in the 90s, specifically purpose-built analytical products like MDX and OLAP engines. Then in the mid-2000s, there's a new generation of column stores that are significantly increasing the scalability and the speed for analyzing a huge amount of data. But just within a short number of years, we have the open source-based products like Hadoop and Hive revolutionizing how data is being stored and managed. And yet, they also left a lot of promise unfulfilled. And that gave rise to the modern data clouds and the open data lakes. As we can see, the wheels of innovation keep spinning. And even if we might like the current generation of data cloud, we think they're just one more stop in the evolutionary journey. There's never been a greater time for us to innovate and make a fundamental impact on how the future data can be managed on the cloud. I will tell you more about my thoughts of the future, but let me start with sharing with you some personal career stories. I spent 4 years at a company called Vertica that helped me transition from being a database researcher to an engineer. And I learned so much in this journey. Before the journey, I thought technology is the only thing that matters to build a successful enterprise database company. And after the journey, I got to understand there's so much more. To tell you an example, at Vertica, we managed to build an auto tuner. It's called Database Designer. And this is in order to compete effectively with the incumbents like oracles and Teradata's. They all have built a large army of DBAs that know how to tune the user's workloads in order to optimize for their performance and cost. Now, Vertica is a new kind of engine, just like an F1 sports engine. That's game-changing. It could be 10 times faster. But the problem is, without proper tuning, all the potentials get squandered. Unfortunately, only employees at Vertica know how to tune the engine. Nobody in the market out there knew how to tune this. So as a result, the company sees it as a strategic priority to build out such an auto-tuner so that our customers and our sales engineers can go and push a button, and the product will automatically analyze users' workloads and figure out how to lay out the data, how to partition and sort and encode the tables to bring out the best performance and the cost. And this was a game changer, not only because it is technically challenging, but more importantly, this addressed a key pain point in our users and in our own sales workflow. So as a technologist, I think to maximize our own impact, we will need to focus on what is the key pain point of our customers, and that will also maximize our product's commercial success. And that is a key lesson I would like to share. And by the way, for some other parts of my career, this has also happened, but I'm happy to report that I think I recovered and benefited a lot from the learnings. But maybe let's talk about that some other day. Now, let's get back to talking about the future of data infra. What do we see as the current set of challenges and the opportunities? We think that to talk about them, it's good to first look at the problem from the lens of these three important personas. First, we have the data engineers. And we see they are increasingly struggling with dealing with the increased infra complexity resulting from their own diversity of the data workloads. I was just talking to a data engineering team this morning from Delta Airlines, and they were telling me they're using a combination of 3 data warehouses. And this is not uncommon. Teams like them would love to offload the infra complexity so they can focus more on contributing to their own product features and contribute to the business top line. And second, we have our query users. They are writing a lot of queries, but they are really sick of waiting for the queries to come back and waiting for their infra colleagues to optimize for their queries. They can be a lot more empowered and productive if we have the right tools for them, where their query to help them write better and faster queries. And last but not least, we have the CIOs and the management that are responsible for watching over the business profit margin and to make sure that the infra cost is more than offset by the business value they generate. So through these 3 personas' perspectives, we see that there are a lot of challenges and opportunities. And as I mentioned earlier, we have the data infra teams looking to offload the management on the infra complexity. We have the query users that could be a lot more productive with the right tools, and the CIO and management looking to have more visibility and control of their big data cloud spend. Let me now share with you another career story of mine. Back then, in the world of MPP analytical databases, it is all about how to couple storage and querying. This is because we can then minimize the disk and in-cluster network I/O when we process large queries. So if someone thinks about decoupling or separating storage and compute, or even they're advocating for it, they will probably get laughed out of the court. So that was that time. And then it's interesting to see, and I give the Snowflake engineering team a lot of credit in advocating for this idea and realizing that. And it's amazing to see how some anti-mainstream idea can gradually take over and become the mainstream. And in contrast, I think Amazon Redshift probably had a head start, and their architecture never changed, never was cloud-friendly. It's just an interesting contrast to see. So my lesson here is, in order to make impact, we will need to continue to think about where the new ideas come from and pursue them and have the persistence in landing them. And to do that, we must not shy away from being a contrarian. And this includes, from time to time, even being a contrarian to the master contrarians like Peter Thiel. So this is what I would encourage everyone to develop their own contrarian thinking. To conclude this talk, let me put on record a few quote-unquote bold predictions. First of all, for those of you who are having an amazing career in data engineering, congratulations, job well done. But I'm sorry to inform you, you're dismissed. I think that in the future, the data engineering can be moved entirely to the cloud. So if you're a top-notch data engineer, I would suggest you talk to the data cloud vendors, including us at Bluesky. And we think you can still have an amazing continued run for your career. If you are query users, we think you will get a lot more love. The tools you're using for SQL and other programming languages, your programming environment will receive major upgrade. And you will have an even more productive time in writing and executing your queries. And then we talk about the pricing model, something that management CIO cares about. We observe that the pricing model is increasingly becoming more aligned to the business value that data infra generates, but still not quite there yet. If you imagine there's a CFO query used to close the financial book at quarterly end, and it happens to consume the same compute resource as to an intern query that's exploring some long-term idea, do you think they should really be charged the same? So these are some open questions regarding what the future pricing model could look like. If you're interested, I would love to talk to you offline. So as you see, we have our next 5 to 10 years of data infra work cut out for us. And we are not here for a quick win. I think we need to be on a mission to fundamentally change how data is managed on the cloud. So towards that goal, we're starting our journey at Bluesky. Our technology, we think, will be the next big thing beyond cost-based optimization. We call it workload-based optimization. Through learning the past users' workloads, we can make their future queries faster and cheaper. So I want to repeat that part. YouTube watchers might love this. Through learning the user's past workloads, we will make the future queries faster and cheaper. So if you're a 10x engineer looking for major impact, we have openings for part-time and full-time positions, and I would love to talk to you. I look forward to working together and change the world one more time. Thank you.